You achieved something recently, something you worked for, something you looked forward to. And when it finally arrived, you waited for the feeling. And the feeling didn't come. Not the way you expected, not the way you needed. Just a flat, quiet nothing where the satisfaction was supposed to be. And within an hour, you were reaching for your phone, looking for something else, something that would finally feel like enough. For 300,000 years, that moment, that specific emptiness did not exist. This is why. Everyone has heard of dopamine. Almost no one knows what it actually does. It is not the pleasure chemical. That's the myth. That's the version that gets repeated in every wellness article and productivity video, and that is wrong in a way that matters enormously. Dopamine does not fire when you receive something good. It fires when you expect something good. It lives entirely in the gap between wanting and getting. The moment the reward arrives, dopamine drops. What you feel at the finish line is not dopamine. The dopamine was everything that came before it: the chase, the uncertainty, the almost, the not yet. Your brain was built to run on that gap, on the stretch of anticipation before the thing arrives. And for 300,000 years, that stretch was real. The ground is dry and cracked. 3 days since the trail started. You don't eat until this works. Every track in the mud gets read like a sentence. Every shift in the wind means something. Every decision, left or right, faster or slower, now or wait, carries real consequence. The animal is close. You don't know how close. That uncertainty is not stress. That uncertainty is your dopamine system running at full capacity, stretched across 72 hours of genuine stakes. And then the moment comes. The hunt succeeds. What moves through you is not comparable to anything a screen has ever given you. The anticipation system had been at maximum tension for 3 days. Every circuit involved, every sense recruited. And when it finally released, it released completely. The satisfaction was physical. It lived in your chest and your legs and your hands, and it stayed there. Not for minutes, for days. That was not a peak experience for ancient humans. That was not a rare moment of transcendence they talked about for years. That was a normal week. Flow states, that locked in, fully present, completely alive feeling, were not something they chased. They were the default condition of a brain running on real anticipation with real stakes and real reward. Now here is what happened to that system. Your brain is not fixed. It calibrates. It looks at its environment and adjusts. A brain that earns large, real, spaced-out dopamine hits over time, keeps its baseline high. It stays sensitive to meaningful reward. It can feel things. A brain that receives hundreds of tiny, instant, effortless hits every single day does something else. It turns the sensitivity down. It has to. The system is being flooded, and the only way to cope is to need more just to feel the same. The clinical word for this is downregulation. The human word for it is numbness. You know this feeling. The thing you worked toward for months lands, and within 24 hours, it already feels like it didn't happen. The food you were craving tastes like slightly less than you imagined. The weekend arrives, and instead of rest, there is just a low, restless static that sends your hand to your phone before you've even thought about it. That is not ingratitude. That is not your personality. That is a dopamine system that has been recalibrated by its environment, and the environment won. Look at what replaced the hunt. Your phone makes a sound, a specific sound, engineered to be just surprising enough to trigger an orienting response. In the ancient world, a sudden sound meant something had changed in your environment. Something real, something that might require your immediate attention. Your brain still responds to that sound with the same ancient reflex. Eyes move, hand reaches, anticipation fires. And then you look at the notification, and it's nothing. But the anticipation already fired, and it wants to fire again. Well, someone likes your post. In a tribe of 50 people, being seen and valued by the group was not a nice feeling. It was survival data. Status determined access to food, to protection, to everything. Your brain still registers social approval with a version of that ancient signal. The like lands. Relief flickers for 3 seconds. Then it needs another one. You open an app and scroll. You are not looking for anything specific. You don't know what would satisfy you if you found it. But the scrolling itself, the scanning, the movement through a stream of information, that behavior is ancient. For 300,000 years, your eyes moved across environments looking for resources, food, threat, opportunity. The scan always ended when you found something real. The scroll has no end. There is no real resource waiting in it. So the ancient scanning behavior runs and runs and runs, and your brain keeps expecting the thing it was built to find, and it never arrives, and you put the phone down feeling worse than before you picked it up. Every single one of these triggers fires the anticipation system. Not one of them satisfies it. So it keeps firing. There is one ancestral dopamine trigger that has never been successfully replaced. Your body working hard and then stopping. Physical exertion followed by genuine rest. That cycle, the only one, cannot be approximated digitally. You cannot scroll into it. You cannot shortcut it. Your body has to actually do the thing, spend the energy, feel the real cost, and then receive the real recovery. And when it does, your brain responds with something it recognizes as true. That is why exercise is the most effective non-pharmacological treatment for dopamine dysregulation, depression, and anhedonia. The clinical term for not being able to feel pleasure in things that should bring it. Not because doctors say moving is healthy, because it is the last remaining input your nervous system cannot be fooled about. Every time you pick up your phone searching for something that will finally feel like enough, you are running an ancient anticipation system through a machine that was engineered to never let it arrive. The want fires, the reward doesn't land, the want fires again. That is not weakness. That is not a character flaw. That is a brain designed for 72-hour hunts being handed a slot machine that pays out in almost nothing 1,000 times a day. Think about the moments in your life that actually felt like something. Not the ones you expected to feel something, the ones that actually did. They cost you something real. They made you wait longer than was comfortable. They stretched the anticipation until it was almost unbearable. And then when they arrived all the way. That wasn't luck. That wasn't the right circumstances. That was your brain running on the fuel it was built for. The system is still intact. It hasn't been destroyed. It's been drowned out. And somewhere underneath all the noise, there is still a part of you that knows the difference between a notification and a mammoth. It's still in there. It's just been waiting for something worth hunting.